Hello everyone, we're here again back to go forest after we just came back from our career trip. It's nice to see you again and thank you for coming. As you can imagine, and as usual, we have a very good trip. I would like to give you a full report on Sunday morning Dharma talk, if you will. Tonight, this is our regular Chan talk for the Asia Chan class. And as you can imagine, I'm still a little bit under, I'm really not myself. It's my only excuse. And so the jet lag thing and maybe missing Asian food, Korean food, and so forth. I'm not sure which is which. But here I am today to talk to you about, to practice with you Chan again. And if anyone has any questions at all, please feel free to ask. And I thought I was meditating, not sure if I could stay awake. But somehow I stayed awake and I thought this crazy idea came through. So I texted Master Xin and asked her to give me some slides on Confucius teachings. Okay, I talked to them vaguely about this, and I thought I'd like to someday look into what he taught, because Confucius is very influential on the formation of the Asian cultures. And he's influential in Chinese culture, but also in the rest of Asia as well. And so it is fascinating to me to find out how he progressed through life. Because masteryonghua, my late Chinese teacher, he said Confucius is basically is 水月菩萨, the water moon bodhisattva. So he's enlightened. And when you talk about enlightened people like bodhisattvas, they're a special breed. They're very, very different from us, because once you're enlightened, then you are always enlightened, every single lifetime. And what's nice about it. And then therefore, these enlightened beings are very special because they have their own brand and personal brand of blessings from enlightened people. And what's special about them is that their own blessings will guide them again towards enlightenment, whether they have a teacher or not, whether they cultivate or not. Isn't that cool? Once you're enlightened, that's it. You set for forever, for life forever. You don't look happy. That only shows that none of you is enlightened. Never mind. Okay, I didn't mean to put you down, but anyway. So it's kind of cool. This is why our Chan classes is about enlightenment. I hope that you become enlightened this lifetime, because it's a lot of fun for enlightened people. A lot more fun than you can ever imagine. Okay, and so this person here, Confucius, which I sort of don't like him that much, but I'm fascinated by him because everyone looked up to him. So I said, what is it? What happened in his lifetime? He documented it. He says, and it's from the Analects on Governing. God, I'm learning more and more about the Chinese language. Okay, so they collected his teachings, and it's under this how to govern, how to rule countries. It may be appropriate for us Republicans here in Northern California, because there's an election coming, may I remind you? And we hope that the right president gets elected. Never mind, okay. We're not talking about politics today. Are we? Yeah. Okay, so the analects on governing, okay, so he says, we don't know what happened between 0 and 15, at 14, okay? But at 15, he said, I set my heart on learning. At 30, I stood firm. At 40, I had no doubts. At 50, I knew the decrees of heaven. At 60, my ears was obedient to the truth. Truth here is with a capital T. Okay. And at 70, I could follow my heart's desires without transgressing the boundaries, okay, of what was righteous. Okay, and that's what he said, and that's his progression in life. Remember, unlike us, he had no Chan teacher. But as I said, because he's a bodhisattva, so naturally his wisdom evolved. Okay, and this is a proof of what he did. Okay, and so interestingly, it starts at 15. So from 0 to 14, he's basically very confused. Okay, but at 15, all of a sudden, he set my heart on learning. He set his heart on learning. And so you see, so this is why it's very important at 15, at that age, it's very important to learn to acquire knowledge, to learn thinking, to learn how to think. All right? And he says he 去语学 so he has the aspiration, he aspires for learning. And it's not just at 15 to 30, okay? But this aspiration, 语学, at learning, at acquiring knowledge, and learning more and more, meaning it's a lifelong process. Okay? That never stops. That's how I read it. Okay, oh, by the way, you Asian people, please feel in to chime in. I'm no Confucian expert, so I'm eager to learn from you as well. So feel free to contribute, okay, please. Especially Chinese people. You should know more than I do. Okay. Korean people, Vietnam people. All of you Asians should know more than I. Because I don't like Confucius. I'm biased. Okay? But what we all can learn from him, for this enlightened being, is that he understands, he commits to learning. Non-stop. So far, so good. So a sign of maturity, so a sign of your blessings manifesting, if you will, is that you have this desire to learn. Okay, what is to learn? Anything. It's learning from books, from people, in Buddhism, there's a saying, the 10,000 things are speaking the Dharma. It's a very powerful concept in Buddhism. Learning, unlike the intellect, is like go and get a degree or get a diploma, certificate. In Buddhism, we learn eventually get to the point where the 10,000 things are actually speaking Dharma to you. And therefore, you can learn from the 10,000 things. Okay, that's the ultimate form of learning in Buddhism. Okay? And so, but that's only because you prioritize learning as your base. Okay? Next level of his progression, his blessings, is how his blessings manifest, if you will. And this is what you can look at yourself, you can look at how your kids will progress and so forth, and the people and so forth, and you see that the telltale sign is that there is an interest or maybe a hunger in learning. True here is actually there's an aspiration, there is a resolve to learn. That's how blessings, great blessings, materialize in you. All right? And these have very important implications for our children, for the future generation. We need to somehow motivate them to have this aspiration to learn. Okay? That's a telltale sign of great blessings. Number two, and number two, and the next big change for him is somehow it leaps to 30. Okay? The guy is very slow. It takes him 30 years to move on to the next stage. That's why I'm really personal, as I said, for the third time today. I'm not impressed with him. Too slow. 15 years. It's a lifetime in Chan. Agree? Yes, Chinese person. 5.
Sorry, maybe I'll chime in after you explain the second line. So.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Chinese person.
No,
Chinese explanation.
No, I just thinking because I'm of course I'm very familiar with this. I actually taught my son this when he was like 3-4 years old. But I think the way is like if you learn for 15 years, then the next step is you're supposed to be stood firm, or you're like actually know what you're doing by 30. So it's not really a lot of time. It's like 15 years of learning. That's how I read it.
See, that's why you're Chinese.
Yeah, because we're slow. Chinese. Yeah, but then another interesting thing is that just for cultural context is, I think a lot of Chinese know this, and then they start panic at 30. They're like, oh, I'm 30, by now I should be stand firm, know what I'm doing, but I'm not. So there's a lot of this, oh, by 30 you need to do this, by 40 you need to do this. It's actually very hard.
You see, that's why I'm here to rescue you Chinese people, okay? Because as I explained to you, the learning here doesn't stop at 15, doesn't stop at 30. It's a lifelong process. Okay, it's continuous, but it kicks in at 15. That his aspiration, his resolve, materialized, if you will, and he doesn't look back anymore. All right, so it could happen for some people at the age of 10, at the age of 12, whatever. It varies from person to person, but the point here is that there's a big aspiration for acquiring knowledge, to learn more, I don't recognize this person who has a finger with the hand, but actually it's Lena. Okay, you guys evolve so much. Okay, I don't, your face change and then, and your smile change. I can't tell anymore. Hello, Lena.
Yeah, I think because my camera is at a weird angle.
Ah, okay. So it's not that you physically change.
Yeah, so my understanding is that in Chinese culture, Confucius said when you reach the age of 30, you are supposed to establish yourself in the world. So you are supposed to have a good career, and you are supposed to be like financially independent. So yeah, you should have already established yourself in the world when you reach the age of 30. That's what I was taught when I was a child, when we learned about Confucius.
Okay, okay, let's hear about the other. Thank you for your input. What about the rest of you Asians, okay, Chinese and Koreans and Vietnam people, and yeah. Go ahead, next person, Cao Hong. Yeah, good point. Yeah, so you're supposed to you're supposed to be established, right? Li is to be established. So that's how you can stand firm. Good point. Go ahead, Cao Hong, who refused to show her face.
师父你好。我露脸，我因为没有准备好，所以没有露脸。
No one is prepared today, I assure you.
我
impromptu talks.
我认为那个32力的力不是指知道自己做什么了，而是他应该是有承担责任的能力。
有什么能力？承担啊 ，OK, OK, OK, good point, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, stood firm here also, Cao Hong says, another Chinese person, of course. She says in Chinese, I believe, 承担 is you bear the burden. To li here is actually you also bear the burden. Okay, the burden. You shoulder the burden of responsibility. Okay? Great input. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Anyone else? It takes a China person to see that. Go ahead, Professor Alina. Are you sure the camera angle or you haven't changed? Your face look longer. Oh, the thing. That's okay. Anyone else? Okay. Stood firm here is yeah, that looks better. Yeah. Yes, yes. Another professor, Mr. Park, Professor Park.
Yes. As I learned it from the book, in 30 it means that you learned enough for acting. So you learned enough. Now it is time to stand up and act what you learned. That's what I learned from the book.
From the book? Which book? Korean book or China book?
No, Chinese book. China book.
China book.
Yes. It's a Taiwanese Nam Huigen.
What?
Nan Huijin.
Non-fighting book from Taiwan? Nán Hoài Chín.
It's interpreted into Korean. So
You quoted Nán Hoài Chín to me? Seriously? You Koreans read Nán Hoài Chín?
Yeah, there are lots of books interpreted, translated.
Okay. Can we settle the score once for all? Nán Hoài Chín is a first stage arhat. Don't quote first stage arhats to me. Quote like Shui Yue, like Confucius, who's enlightened. Nán Hoài Chín is hardly enlightened. Okay? Anyone else? Yeah, you do look better now, Lena. Half a face. Okay, anyone else? What's Li? Stood firm here. Also means that you can. Oh, what is that? Oh no, that. Yeah, back to the live thing. Don't take the photo. The photo doesn't look good. Oh no. Okay, you stand firm. So yes, all the concepts of shoulder responsibility. You have a grasp enough of your knowledge that you're able to carve out your own domain, your own territory. You can be your own, you carve out an area that you can call your own, okay? So that to stand firm, it's very hard to move you. All right? Next, at 40, I have no doubts. So ho is doubts. Ho in the whole I know in Buddhism is stupidity, but here is doubts. Seriously? Okay. And so after he stood firm, yes, DTT, go ahead.
벌써 지나갔는데. 제가 말씀드리고 싶은 거는 마스터께서 15살에서 30살까지 되게 오래 걸렸다고 했는데 공자가 이제 부모도 없었고 스승은 거의 없는 상태에서 아마 혼자 공부해서 그렇게 오래 걸리지 않았을까 싶고요. 그게 그렇게 오래 걸렸다고 생각하진 않지만 다행히 저희는 마스터가 있습니다.
Hello. So, Master, you mentioned that from 15 to 30, it took a long time, but I think it's because he had no parents and no teacher. So I don't think that's that long. And I think we're okay because we have you, Master.
Yes, bless you. Okay, so yes, absolutely. It's interesting because it took 15 years as a teenager, and he went through the 20s. Because I don't know about you, but here in the U.S., when I was at 20, I was very confused. Okay. And especially in the modern era, you're very, especially nowadays, even as a teenager, you're so confused by the internet. There's so much information. Okay, it's very, very confusing. And so at 30, he was able to carve out an area for himself where he feels that he's knows and he's knowledgeable, so that's why he can defend his territory. And at 40, he has no doubts. Are you sure this is only doubts or delusion?
I think it's more like confusion. Here.
Confusion.
Yeah, there's no confusion. 迷惑, it's more
So
like 迷惑.
where does the doubts come from? ChatGPT? Okay.
There is doubt.
Across the board?
There is the doubt meaning too, but here in this context, I think it's more like confusion.
Go ahead, yeah. Xin, go ahead.
I agree, it can be confusion. There's confusion, doubts, but this is just the standard English translation that I researched on the internet, so I went with it.
Okay. We have Chinese people chiming in. Let's go first to Shanghai. Go ahead, Shanghai, Mardi Gras. What's your name? Mardi.
Salary.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Master. So I think the 40 here, together with the context 30 and 50, I think here the dot means the 40 people knows what they want. It's mainly about the desire, like the money, the power. So that time they knows how to make the choice. So the doubts here means knows what the worthy life, what we want.
That is a good point. And that's it? Professor Jane too? We have a lot of professors today. We're so grateful for all of you to chime in. Professor Jane, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. So basically it means when you're 40, you're no longer confused. I mean, I'm still confused, but the literal translation means by the age of 40, you are no longer confused.
So confusion manifests is in doubts? No doubts? No doubts in life. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Ahong.
Master, so when he say no more whore, here does it mean that at that age he become enlightened?
Could be. Good point. Absolutely no whore here. Whore from a Buddhist perspective is confusion. Okay? Bu whore. So there's no confusion. So maybe he's enlightened at 40, but unlikely. Okay? Could be. We don't know. Yes, JC? Go ahead, JC.
김혜수님의 질문입니다. 6월에 돌아가신 분은 왕생 위패만 해당되는지요? 정토에 가시게 하는 다른 방법은 없는지요? 49제는 이미 그 기간이 끝나서 안 되는 건지요? 왕생 위패는 정토에 가는 것이 아니라 정토복을 쌓는 거라 알고 있어서 질문드립니다. 질문 남기셨습니다.
This is a question from Hasan teacher. Those who have passed away this June, does this person only can do the reverse plaque? Is there any other way that we can send this person to the Pureland? Because the 49 day has already passed, we cannot do the 49 days.
Okay.
I'm asking this because the reverse plaque is not for going to the reverse, it's just planting the blessing, reverse blessings.
Yeah, in as far as the Dharma, the means available in the rebirth Dharma we practice to help the deceased, there's a 49-day period which is critical, most opportune time to help them attain a good next body, and beyond that window, and then this only left is the rebirth blessings that you can accrue for them. Okay, so she's right. That's the only thing that we have available, and actually, it's extremely helpful. If you were stuck and you're not in a Pureland, and if you get rebirth blessings, it's extremely useful to you. Okay, it's designed to relieve your suffering, your existing sufferings, and prepare you to go to the Pureland. So that's all we know. Yes, Wei Mountain.
那个四十而立的话讲，应该是心呢明白了，心清净了，心明白了。
So, when you're 40, you have 40而立，它是40不惑。So are you？ 你在说30还是40？ 40而不惑。So he's saying that when there's no doubts means your heart is you understood. So your heart is 清净了, so it's pure and it's clear.
That's my tendency too. That's my inclination is to believe. I agree with him. Personally, I agree with him. 不惑 here is not just from a Buddhist perspective where you put an end to your confusion, to your delusions, but actually it's about enlightenment. In Buddhism, by the way, in Buddhism, doubt is what stops you from opening your wisdom. So could be double talk here from Confucius. He says, "I have no more doubts." You could say that that he's no longer confused and he's enlightened. He opened his wisdom. Okay. In Buddhism, even in Hinayana, even for the arhats, the sound hearers, when they get to the sagely stages of the Hinayana teachings, then you need to sever the doubts, okay, before you reach significant wisdom in Buddhism, okay. And furthermore, in a Chan world, is the doubts is what prevents you from going into higher levels of wisdom. Could be doubting yourself, doubting the teachings, doubting your teacher, okay? It's the doubt that is really detrimental to your unfolding of your wisdom. Okay? If you have enough blessings, okay, it's natural to have doubts. Because like in nowadays, there's so much contradictory information. Something, something is good about you and something is bad about you. So there's always doubt is a healthy thing to have. But it's the nature of your blessings. If you have blessings like Confucius, then he naturally resolves all those, and he has no more issues with the contradiction, with the conflict. He says, I believe in the principles. Okay? And so I agree with him. To me personally, I agree. I think at 40, that's when he unfolds his wisdom. Okay? Significant wisdom, for sure. In in the Hinayana stages, it's around the second arhat stages, third arhats, and so forth. Okay, and so that's wisdom right there, transcendental wisdom already. Okay, and so at 40, he's in that range, and that's pretty impressive for someone who has no real teacher, no real methodology of practice. All right, he has no Chan technology at all. Was he before or after Chan? After Chan, huh? Before Chan came to China. Thank you. You see? So he doesn't have the technology that you have. All right. Anyone else? At 50, he knew the decrees of heaven. And so Tianming, then he realizes at 50 that there is structures in the world where you all have to answer to someone higher. For us humans, we are governed by the heavens. Okay, and therefore, his wisdom now begins to expand outside, where he no doubt is internal. Okay, he says, my beliefs is firmer. Okay, and then my wisdom is active. And now at 50, 10 years later, he knew the decrees of heaven. He realizes that when you talk about decrees of heaven, what does it mean to you in Chinese or Asian people? Decrees of heaven. What does it mean? 5.
So I think just for Chinese, it's more about your destiny, like what is your heavenly determined destiny? What's
your destiny?
Yeah.
Or what heaven commanded you to do, send you down here to do.
And then there's also the sense of, what is meant to be for you. Yeah. So the certain things you will say, okay, that's not what I'm going to go after, or that's not meant for me, so I'm not conflicted about it anymore, not afflicted, because the Tian means the...
Because that's my destiny,
yeah.
That's my fate,
right.
In a way. Yeah, and actually in Buddhism, there is in the Jataka or Jataka tales, where it tells the stories of the bodhisattvas. Actually, they say that many bodhisattvas or disciples of the Buddha were sent down from the heavens down to earth on a mission. Okay, and so in a way, there's a confirmation from the Buddhist teachings that the heavens actually are watching over us and actually are meddling with us. Okay, so Tianming here is actually the decrees from the heaven, where actually we are being governed by the gods. Okay, which is a fact. Okay, we must answer to the heaven decrees, the gods rule over us. Okay, he realized that. He said, I'm really must answer to a boss. And that's wisdom, by the way. If you think that you're number one in the world, you may be number one in the world, but you still must answer to the heavens. And that's wisdom. We still have to be accountable for what we do to our bosses above us. Okay? The heavens here, you can interpret a little bit in a broader sense in Buddhism, that we have bosses. Until you become a Buddha, you still must answer to someone, a higher authority than us. Okay? And that's a very important realization. And at 60, my ear was obedient, shun, to the truth. And so my ears was obedient to the principles, not the truth. The truth here refers to the principles. Okay? Meaning that if it accords to the principles, you can bend my ears. Okay? In English, in American English, it's you can bend my ears. I will lean towards that, go in that direction. Okay? And turn this way. Okay? This is what we do, bending. That's what we do in our temple. We bend your ears. Yeah. So it's kind of very colorful, where you're like a little dog, and then someone grabbed you by the ear and turned you this way. Yeah, that's what he says. Now he's more pliable. That's another manifestation of wisdom. Interesting that my ears are obedient, meaning that when I hear the principles, when I hear the right things, I can attune to it. I can pay attention to it. Agree? Huh? Asians? Cool? Okay. That's progression of wisdom, by the way. We really are not sure yet about at which stage he became enlightened. He would never tell. Okay. Really, truly enlightened people would never tell you they're enlightened. Okay. Of course, I'm enlightened. You can believe that. Your ear can attune to that or not? Okay, never mind. It's not about me. At 70, I could follow my heart's desire without transgression the boundaries, and so at 70, finally, he became a master of his own desires. Okay, meaning that he can fulfill his wishes, his desires without any transgressions. Okay, and that's the level of Confucius. Would you say anything? Did you say something? Yes, fine.
The last stage, so he can kind of do whatever he wants, and then it's never wrong. Is that kind of like a middle way? Is that the level of the middle way?
No.
No.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
What he's talking about, I believe. Yes, Jumi.
마스터 들리세요?
Yeah, we can hear you.
제가 질문이 있는데 50세에 하늘을 알았다는 그 하늘의 의미가 그러면 제석천에 국한된 게 아니라 저희보다 위인 그런 높은 보살님들의 단계에 있는 모든 분들을 말하는 건지가 제가 명확하지 않아서 다시 질문 드립니다.
So, Master, the word at 50, I knew the decrees of heaven. Does this mean not only the rulers of heaven? Does this include bodhisattvas, like all the beings that are higher than us?
Yes. As we learn in the Avatamsaka Sutra, the heavens are ruled by really the bodhisattvas. They watch over the heavens. And they rule over them.
네, 그러니까 제가 그걸 질문 드리고 싶었어요. 이게 하늘이라는 게 우리가 인간을 관장하는 제석천인 건지 아니면 저희가 화엄경에서 여러 세상을 관장하는 여러 천신들이나 여러 그런 신장님들을 배우잖아요. 그래서 그 범위가 궁금했었어요. 감사합니다.
Yes, I was wondering about that. Is it only meaning heaven, or does that mean all the world rulers that we learn in Avatamsaka Sutra?
All those world rulers are actually Mahasattvas. Okay? At work. All right? Very good. And 70, I could follow my heart's desire without transgression of boundaries. What he's stressing here is that you can live your life cleanly. Okay? It's no longer a struggle for you. For us, ordinary people, when we follow our heart's desires, it's always a struggle. Like the proverbial, the angel is here, it says, oh, don't do that. And the devil on the left side, is it left or right? I forgot which one. The last time I looked at my mirror, it's one of the two. Okay, the one say, yeah, don't do that. And the devil says, yeah, do it. Okay, and so he says at 70, finally at 70, he can, and it makes you wonder, 70 is kind of darn old. You're supposed to retire at 70, I think. And at 70, you hope that you have no more desire, but no, he says, still have a lot of desires. It's just that they're good desires. There's no more transgressions from my desires. Okay? And so basically, and this tells me that at 70, he finally admitted that he has wisdom. We really have wisdom, because wisdom is when you no longer have transgressions in your heart. Okay, and you can look at it at whatever angle you wish to, but in his heart, okay, whatever he sets his heart to do, okay, there's no longer any violations of what's proper. Okay, and that's definitely a state of enlightenment. Okay, it's no more internal struggle, if you will, until he was at 60. He says, when you talk to me, I can recognize the principles, and I can submit to it. I will abide by it. Okay. At 70, he says, I don't need anyone, no one else. Okay, because I am in accord with the principles. Okay, I no longer violate the boundaries of what's righteous. Okay, so he arrived at 70, and then it's time for him to die. I don't know what time. What age did he die? 73. So he had 3 good years left. And you're supposed to be impressed by that? I'm supposed to be impressed by that, huh? You live for 70 years and then say, oh, finally I made it. And then you have 3 years left. And at 70, back then, what do they have at 70 in terms of quality of life? Probably is on a wheelchair. Huh? But it's fascinating, isn't it? So look at the life timeline of this person who has great wisdom. Okay, that's how he progressed. And finally, for someone with great blessings, okay, this is a very important point, folks. The person who has wisdom it arises because they have great blessings, and the manifestation of it is that they are righteous. They do the right things. That's blessings. Questions? Comments? Yes, 5.
I just thought about something that I mentioned that in Chinese society, we often use those milestones to. We often ponder about those milestones when we reach those ages. So we're like, oh, I'm 30, I'm supposed to be this, I'm 40, I'm 50. Mm-hmm. But somehow it did not occur to me that we're kind of compare ourselves with the sage, which is kind of cool. That means we subconsciously have this very high standard for ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. This is why I feel that the Asian or Chinese culture, Asian, which is not necessarily limited to the Chinese now, because Confucius teaching is adopted everywhere throughout Asia, okay, as a standard. And so the Asian culture really, really is superior because the standards are so high. What the Asians take for granted in terms of standards is something in the West we don't have. Our standards are more on what? What's the difference in standards? On the west side of the world, okay, the standards are outside. You measure external things. Where the Asian culture, the standard of excellence is about yourself, your morality, okay, your wisdom. So that's why I feel that on one side, the Western side is more glamorous, it's more glitz, it's more exciting, okay, but it lacks substance. The east side, the Asia side, it has substance but lacks glitz. So the Asians are supposed to be boring. The Westerners are supposed to be a rose that will wilt very quickly. It's exciting, but it doesn't last. That's a very good point. Okay, and so that's why there must be a compromise. There must be a middle way. The way that Confucius teaches is sound, okay, but it no longer appealing to the young Asians. Agree? And most of you Asians want to. It's all Asians here today. Oh, I forgot. Oh, it's an Asian thing, Asian class. Silly me. No non-Asian allowed here. Okay, and so to me, there must be a middle way where you must combine the Eastern excellence with the Western excellence, okay, to make it more appealing, to make it more sustainable. Agree? Okay. Thank you, everyone. We stop here today. Yes, Chu Hong, Ziet.
Yeah, thank you, Master. Can I ask a further question about your comments on the Western side of things? The glitz.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
The glitz is Taylor Swift. Yeah, the shiny costumes when she performs, those short dresses and there's double pantyhoses, that's glitz. Glitz is the bright lights, the glamour, the excitement, the outside. Okay, it's designed to impress, designed to be loud. Whereas the Asian side, we value low key. This is one great thing about Asian cultures. That it's supposed to be low-key. The Western is glitzy because it's supposed to be loud. It's supposed to draw attention to yourself. It's designed to impress. Asian side is that it's designed to be very low-key. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. So in Korean culture, for example, okay, if you stick out, they take a hammer and they hammer you down, bang! True or not? Yeah? If you go, I don't know, you still remember, you go to, I know, when you Chinese people go to Korea, they bend backwards to accommodate you, but it's not the real self. If you live there long enough, if you stick out, they take a hammer and hammer you down mercilessly. Bing, bang, bang, bang. Right, Jumi? Until you disappear, you blend in. Okay? So that's what glitz here. In the West, we worship glamour. We worship glitz. We prize loudness, and we want attention. Whereas the Eastern culture is we want to be low key. Okay. All right, and in the Korean culture in particular, it's heavily enforced. Koreans, do you agree? You hammer people down mercilessly. Okay, like we hit the woodfish. Okay, thank you everyone. We stop here today.